Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here today. I thought I would try something a little bit different on the channel. It's something I have never done before, but I thought I'd have a go at Christmas in July. Christmas in July sounds really fun. I have organised a Christmas in July swap on one of the Facebook groups I'm on, and everyone's been loving that. So I thought, you know what, let's take it another step further, and I'm going to do some videos for my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to attempt to create a Christmas planner. This is something that I think will be really, really useful, help keep me organised, and actually it's something I've never made before. So it's going to be a really great learning curve, which is why I thought I'd put the camera on, because I thought, well, if it works, I can bring you guys along with me and it might be helpful for you as well. I'm going to be using a no-sew binding for two reasons. One, I can't sew brilliantly well, and two, my sewing machine isn't here, it's at my mum's house, and it's a very old one that I would have to look up how to use, so I just thought no-sew is the way to go. When I get to that part in the video, I will try and remember to tell you where I found the technique that I'm going to use, like who I saw do it, and if I remember to link their videos, I will do. I'm going to use It's Snome Time for today's video. This is a really beautiful collection. I have used this so much, but look how much I have left. I've still got quite a lot left, so I thought, because this is something for me, this is a really nice way to be able to keep part of the collection as well, because the way I'm doing this planner, I will literally be able to take parts out every year and reuse it. So, you know, I love these papers, and this way I get to keep them, so win-win. I'm going to switch over to a voiceover, I think, for the rest of the video, so I hope you enjoy this video and find it really, really useful, and let's crack on. To make the cover of my planner, I decided to use cereal boxes. Now, I did have little cardstock behind me while I was making this, but having felt the difference in the weights, I decided cereal boxes were going to be the better bet. If you wanted to reinforce your cover, you could definitely layer up your cereal boxes and use multiple ones on top of each other, and then you'll have a nice strong cover. But I decided one for the front and one for the back was more than enough for what I was trying to achieve. I started off by cutting off an excess flap that I just didn't need, and it was only going to be in the way. Then I got down to the business of actually creating my covers. So I got my scoreboard out and I scored at 8.5 inches for the width. Now, the reason I'm using a scoreboard as well as this guillotine is that despite having this rotary guillotine since 2012, I still have not worked out how you are supposed to measure accurately larger projects on it. So if you have it and you know, please let me know, because it would be super helpful to know. I can see smaller projects on the base of this, but I've never worked out how you're supposed to do larger projects. So that was 8.5 inches for the width, and now I am going 9 7/8 inches for the length. I do, as I say, want a really substantial planner, and I'm really happy with how it actually turns out. But that's why I've gone 9 7/8 for the length. I will put up a blog post to accompany this video, so all the measurements, score lines, etc. will be on the blog post, and I will link that in the description box of this video, so it's at your fingertips, so you don't need to sit there with a pen and a paper frantically scribbling trying to keep up. Just go to the description box, you'll find the blog post, and it will take you straight to the correct post. So that is the first cover down. The last thing I needed to do was to mark out my spine. So I decided to do a 1 inch wide spine The first thing I did was score on the front of the cereal box, and then I flipped it over and did exactly the same at 1 inch on the reverse. I did this because I figured it would be so much easier to fold and burnish if I did that, and I was spot on because it just folded like you would not believe. So I was really happy with that. This is exactly the same again. This is just that I'm creating the second cover, so I decided to speed it up because having just watched it once, you didn't really need to watch it again in slow-mo. Just while we're waiting for this part to end, don't forget that my road to 500 is open and running until the 31st of July, and my birthday giveaway is also open and running for another couple of weeks. Neither of them require anything to be sent. Just check out the videos, which I'll link in the description box for more info. So this is how it's starting to look, and I decided to use Kalau glue to kind of adhere it together. Now the reason I chose Kalau was because this is super strong glue. I don't have any book binding glue, and I didn't think red liner tape would quite cut it. And because this dries basically like cement, I thought it was a really good way to reinforce my cover and to make sure that the spine was nice and strong. So you can see I've just put it on one piece and I'm just lining it all up and making sure that it all matches up, trying not to get it on my fingers. Now where I'd done my cutting earlier, the boxes had kind of parted ways, so I just used some Kalau on that as well. I figured it was a great excuse to strengthen the cover with my cement glue and get those put back together. The next thing I decided to do was to decorate the cover. So I grabbed my DSP, I left it as 12 by 12, and then I placed the cover onto the paper. Now it's not bang in the middle, but there is room all around, so I can now fold each piece up. I'm just burnishing with my fingers as I went. I didn't use a bone folder. If you wanted to, there's no reason why you can't. It's just I chose not to. Now I was also very aware that I had to be careful when I was doing the spine, because if I literally just folded it up and glued it, I would get cracking and it just wouldn't work when it was finished. So you'll see better in a minute, but what I'm doing is I'm just trimming up to the spine and then notching. As I say, you will see better in a second, but this is going to enable me to fold the paper better. And then I could start on my top and bottom folds. It's a little bit fiddly because you've got to try and hold it all in place with one hand while you're folding with the other hand, and when you're turning it around you've still got to try and make sure nothing moves. But this paper folds so nicely. It's a really good quality paper. So here you'll see much easier what I was talking about with regards to the spine. So I'm cutting up to the score line closest to the cover I'm working on, and then notching so that when you fold, it folds nice and easily, just like when you make gift boxes, some gift bags. And then I was able just to fold the bottom piece up and fold and burnish with my fingers. And then I was checking that it was all sitting nicely. So I decided that it was going to be too bulky if I left it like that. So what I did was I took it back off of the cereal boxes, and this little square in the corner, I literally just cut it out and then notched so that it folds really nicely. As I say, it's just like when you make gift boxes, some of your gift bags. It's generally what you do on there to save and reduce bulk. So that's what it looks like. And then I did exactly the same down here. I just cut up to the score line and again, and then notched. It's actually quite hard to do all this and stay in shot and not get your head in the way. And at parts of the video I might have got my head in the way and just edited it out, but not quite yet. This bit we were good. Okay, so we will bring back our cover and make sure everything's still sitting nicely, and I was much happier with how that laid down. It went down much flatter. Then I was looking at the spine and trying to work out how was best to deal with that. I do end up trimming that slightly in a minute. So I decided this flap here was still too big. So I cut up to the second score line of the spine and then notched off again. Always notching. Notching is your best friend when you're making things like this. Just look how nicely that goes down now. And then we're just left with the bulk at the back. But that's very easy to deal with. You see again here, I'm just cutting up and notching. And now I'm a happy bunny. So I folded so I had a base, almost score line to work with without it being a score line. I cut the excess off that I didn't want. There was no need to have those bits there. And then I'm just going to glue that bit down onto the spine. I was happy that that would then work. And there is how the front is starting to look. I was quite pleased with that. Again, I used Kalau. I just thought, you know, it's a great way to reinforce your cover. Doesn't take much. And it dries quite quick as well, I find. So I thought we'd use the Kalau, and it's nice and strong. And when you're doing a cover, I think that's best. So I'm just cutting off the excess there and laying some glue down so I can glue that to the spine. I also reinforced the fold lines of the spine while it was drying, just to make sure I could still shut the spine. And then I had to cover the other cover. Now what I actually did here, the camera cut out, I have no idea why. I actually managed to tuck the excess down on itself and then glue it, and I think it worked really well. I'm really annoyed that the camera cut out and I didn't actually get to show you that, but it just tucked in a bit like a present. Next thing I wanted to do was decorate the insides of my cover, so I was just measuring because I was going through my scraps and trying to be resourceful and use some scraps up. What I actually needed was some cardstock that measured 8 3/4 by 8 3/4, and so I eventually found some, and I actually decided to use this tape to stick it down. This is the tape from the works. I have since discovered that actually over time this loses its stick, so I probably won't be using this on too many more things, if I'm honest. And I probably won't be buying it again. So if you do know of any double-sided tape like this that's really good value, definitely let me know so I can go and grab some. So I used the same papers on the front and the back cover. I just wanted some consistency, and plus these birds are super cute. Now some of it, I don't know whether I just mismeasured, but at points it was overhanging the cover a little bit, so I did end up trimming some of this one off. But you can see here, going back in with my tape, and I'm going to stick this down just like that. I wish it was this quick. I think this project took me about 2 days to do in total. So the spine, again, that's a 1-inch strip, and I would say it's about 8.5 inches long. it literally just covers the spine, but I also managed to match some of the birds up so that it just worked. It looked, you know, like it was all one piece of cardstock. So this is the binding system I was talking about earlier, which is No-Sew. This is from a YouTube channel I found called Treasure Books. Now what you need to do is, for each signature you need 2 lengths of the spine, so that's what I'm measuring out now, and then you need to add 2 more lengths and a little bit for luck. So because I've got 5 signatures, I need 12 lengths of the spine in total, plus that little bit just to make sure. Now this baker's twine has some gold, I don't know, like tinsel but without being tinsel, running through it, and in the past I have found that it frays and unravels, and I didn't want that to happen. So in a second I'll be showing you what I did to stop that happening. I could have maybe sped this a bit up, because how bored are you right now watching me count out lengths of spine? So there you go, I must have got to my 12 in a bit because I'm cutting it off. This was so easy to do. Okay, so all I'm going to do is blob a bit of glue on my part finger there, and then just on the ends I just kind of roll it around in the glue and then squish it between my fingers, and I find that then will stop anything unraveling and fraying. I know with like ribbons and stuff you can burn it with a lighter, but I don't really think that works with baker's twine, and I didn't want to risk setting anything on fire. So I went with the glue and it worked quite well. Now when you do this binding system, it was quite hard to try and get it on camera, so I'm just going to kind of talk you through what I end up doing. You don't actually secure it till the end, so you're working quite loose, and you literally will hold a length in your hand and spare, and then start wrapping around. Make sure you count so you get the right amount of signatures. It is quite fiddly to do, as you can see, but I decided not to speed this bit up because I figured it would be good for you to see. Now I also had a bit of a overhang on the cardstock there. I'm not sure what had happened, but it kept catching on that, which really was not helping me. But the finished project, you can't see that, and actually everything's all good, so it's fine. So I'm just wrapping this round, and I'm going to make 5 signatures for my planner. It's such a good size. I'm so happy with this. It's going to be so useful as well for keeping me organised. How many have we got there? I wasn't actually counting. Must be nearly done. And then you have to tie it off a particular way. So to start with, you're going to have your left and your right hands adjacent, I guess you could say, and you'll have a loose part in each hand. And what you want to do is twist or wrap the loose ends, and you go your right hand over your left, and then what you do is you pass one loose end under all of the strings so that both the loose ends are on the same side, and then you tie it off in a knot. So you can't really see well on this video. I will try and remember to link Treasure Books and the video that I saw in the description box even, and then you'll be able to check out exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't think I show it to the best here. Hopefully my audio description is good enough that you'll have an idea of what I was doing here. So I'm just trying to tie it off. It is quite fiddly, I'm not going to lie, and especially when you haven't got full fingers like me, but I managed, so it was fine. And then the next thing I'm going to do is tie a little charm onto this. So I tied the knot, and then I thought that I wanted like a dangle or something, so I went and got a charm from my stash, and I'm going to tie it onto the ribbon before I finally tie it off. You can also, before you've completely finished, just move those signatures around. You don't want them too tight because obviously you've got to put paper and cardstock underneath them, but you don't want them super loose. So there is a bit of a juggling act, there is a fine line to walk, but if you achieve it, honestly, it's so worth it. Now tomorrow night I will be back with part 2 of this video, and in part 2 I will be showing you how to make the signatures, how to make the dividers, and then I will be decorating the planner. So I hope you'll come back and watch that video and find that useful as well. And I have a great way to end this mini series on Friday as well. So I really hope you're enjoying the mini series. It's been so fun to do, and I'm really pleased that I did it. And I also got to play with my gorgeous Craft Consortium papers in July. So, you know, win-win. So let me know what you think of this project. Is it something you would make? Do you think it's looking okay? Have you done anything like this yourself? I would absolutely love to know. So here's the charm. This is from Winter Wishes. This isn't actually part of the Snome Time range, although they did have some snowflake charms as part of this range. I don't think I got them. But, you know, this one will work fine. It's just that I know, which is the annoying thing. I know this didn't go with this collection. It just bugs me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. So here I am, just trying to make sure that my signatures are all smoothed out. They kept catching on that top nodule. As I say, you can't tell in the finished project, but it was really annoying. It kind of looks like I'm trying to tune a piano. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to do was make a pocket for the front. So I got some scrap paper, folded it next to the spine so that I knew like the size. Then I trimmed it down and used a corner punch to round them off. And then I used my double-sided tape to stick that all down. Now you'll see that on the bottom half of the pocket, I actually halved the tape and then folded it over on itself. And I did that because it was quite near the bottom, and I was also mindful that I'm going to be putting things in this pocket, so I didn't want the tape like really far up. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope you are enjoying the mini series. Please come back tomorrow and watch tomorrow's video, and let me know how you're enjoying this mini series in the comments, because that would be fabulous. I hope you are all safe and well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll let the video run its course. It's nearly done now, so take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.